So getting back into our coverage over Ultimate Black Panther, we do pick up with the 6th issue. Now, for me personally, it kind of feels like the story is being dragged out a tad bit here. Like, I'm still waiting for the big moment for this first story arc. Right now, we're getting the small big moments. I need the big, huge moment to kind of pull me in and be like, okay, this is where the story gets really good. But Ultimate Black Panther still has my attention for now, but getting into the actual book, we do pick up in West Africa. Now, in West Africa, we do pick up with a young family. Now, this family is unfortunately watching their son die. He's dying from some unknown disease. Now, they did call in a doctor, and his doctor is trying to help save the child. But unfortunately, he has to inform the family that he can't do anything to really help the child out. And so now they have to watch their young boy die. But that is when you have Khonshu appear. Now, when he does appear, he appears as a god. And the reason why, because he's coming here to save the young boy's life after the doctor had just failed and informed the parents that he can't really do anything to save their son. But here comes this guy pretending to be a god. Now, remember, in our last video, Khonshu was able to get his hands on the unknown element that Black Panther in the inner circle found in a previous chapter. This unknown element has the ability to accelerate life. And so with Khonshu now holding that power, he was able to give the boy life again, to help the young boy fight against his disease. And like I said, this is him beginning to build up an army in a different kind of way, to now go around to help out different people in need who are now going to look at him as a god and build up an army to most likely use against Wakanda. And really, we jump over to Wakanda, where we pick up with Shuri informing T'Challa what's happening across Africa at the moment. The whole idea that Khonshu is now going around helping out people in need, but he's also pretending to be some kind of god with some kind of power. Now, those people, they have no idea where his power comes from, but they believe that he is a god. And so now he's able to build up an army to use against Wakanda. And that does scare Shuri a lot, but not for T'Challa. You see, for T'Challa, he believes it's time for a change in Wakanda. The whole idea of Wakanda being cut off from the rest of Africa really does bother him. He feels like the walls around Wakanda should finally be broken to allow Wakanda to work with the other countries in Africa. Now, we also learn that Shuri does not like Storm nor Killmonger because, well, no one knows much about them at all. Now, for T'Challa, he does trust them, but also because he heard a vision, the idea that down the road, the Woman of Light would be able to give him a child. And Shuri can tell that T'Challa might have some kind of feelings towards Storm, but we kind of find out that Storm and Killmonger are actually a couple, and they're kind of spending some time in the bedroom with one another. And it kind of shows that we might have a huge love triangle down the road. But now we can jump over to Ra and Khonshu. Now, for Ra and Khonshu, we do see that they were able to use the element to build up a kingdom for themselves to use. But here's the catch. Khonshu is the only one using the element. For Ra, he wants to use the element to gain power. And so he realized that currently they only have one piece of the element. There's other pieces out there, and it does seem like Wakanda most likely knows where those other pieces are at. Now for Ra, he does feel like Khonshu is not really taking Black Panther as a threat. He's kind of like, hey brother, I'm telling you, if you don't really try to play games correctly with Black Panther, he will bring you down. But for Khonshu, he's kind of showing that he's just being very cocky, because now he has powers in his hand. He does feel like he should be able to bring down the Black Panther. But now we have to jump over to a mineral refinery. And really, it does seem like it's going to be a quiet night. But then out of nowhere, you have all these people just running towards the actual facility. And we do learn that, well, they're suicide bombers. Now, these guys who are trying to protect the place, they have no idea what's going on. All they hear is that for Khonshu over and over again. But they're trying their best to kill off the suicide bombers before they're able to actually hit the place. Now, luckily for those guys, Black Panther arrives. And the reason why, because he feels like this is a terrorist attack. And that is not okay at all. And so after he's able to take down all the suicide bombers, well, then you have Black Panther be confronted by Khonshu. Now, this conversation really does not last that long because it's really more a Khonshu telling T'Challa that him and Wakanda both failed Africa because they allowed invaders to come into Africa to take up different pieces of Africa because Wakanda only cared for Wakanda, never did care for the rest of Africa. Now, for Black Panther, he kind of realized that Khonshu is trying to act like a god, but also trying to act like he really does care for the rest of Africa. Either way, you do have Khonshu believe that Black Panther cannot bring him down, that Black Panther cannot stop his master plan with his brother Ra. But you have T'Challa being able to punch Khonshu to kind of remind him like, hey, you're not a god. Like, you may believe you're a god, but you're not a god because I was able to easily punch you. Now, with that happening, it's now Khonshu and Black Panther officially saying that they're going to war against each other, which honestly, they already were, but we're going to act like, hey, you know what? This is now the starting point of the war. And hey, here we go. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.